Have you ever just stopped and wondered if your birthday is, well, more than just a date on the calendar? I mean, what if it's actually a kind of secret code, a key to unlocking your life's true path and your deepest purpose? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into. So let's just ask the big question right up front. Could your birth date be a map to your soul? The whole idea we're exploring today is that your birthday isn't random at all. Instead, it might be a very deliberate choice that your soul made, a kind of guide for the journey you're supposed to be on in this lifetime. And this whole concept has a name, the soul blueprint. The best way to think of it is like a preloaded design document that comes with your soul. And the theory is, by breaking down the numbers in your birthday, you can start to see the core themes, the big challenges, and even the hidden strengths that you came here to experience. Okay, so to make this feel real and not just abstract, we're going to walk through a case study together. We're going to take the birthday September 1st, 1984, and decode its soul blueprint to see exactly what kind of story it tells. So, the foundation of this whole thing comes down to 5 core calculations. These give you what the source material calls your sacred numbers. Each one is calculated from your birth date in a slightly different way, and each one shines a light on a totally different part of who you are. Okay, so here are those 5 calculations for our example birthday. Now, they all have their own story to tell, but for right now, we're going to zoom in on the 2 that create this central dynamic for this person. We've got the fundamental number, which is all about your role here on Earth, and then we've got the absolute number, which is kind of like your soul's true essence. And for this person, those numbers are a 4 and a 5. And believe me, that specific combination is where things get really, really interesting. And here it is. This is the core conflict, the central tension for this person. Their earthly role, that number 4, is all about being stable, trustworthy, and reliable. But their soul's essence, that number 5, is about freedom, leadership, and this really powerful, expansive energy. You can almost feel the internal tug of war, right? Part of you wants to build a solid fortress, and the other part just wants to fly. So you might be asking why that specific conflict? Why the 4 and the 5? Well, the system suggests that we can find some big clues by looking at the birth month. It supposedly gives us a peek into the soul's backstory and what it's trying to accomplish this time around. So for someone born in September, the blueprint calls them a perfectionist soul. This is not a new soul by any means. It's considered a mature soul, kind of in its autumn season, a time of harvesting wisdom. And its main mission for this life? To finally master the ideas of service and perfection. And this leads us to one of the most fundamental ideas in this whole system. It's the belief that the challenges we face, they aren't punishments. They are deliberately chosen. Your soul isn't really looking for an easy, comfortable life. It's looking for the fastest, most effective path to grow and evolve. So for our case study, this lifetime is basically a targeted training mission. The soul strategically picked this exact setup, this push and pull between stability and freedom, so it could finally master those qualities of perfection and service that it might have struggled with in a past life. It all starts to click together, doesn't it? Right, so knowing all this is one thing, but what do you actually do with it? Well, this next part is all about the practical side of things. How do you debug your own energy and tune your internal engine so you can have a much smoother ride? And we're back to that core conflict. See, when that 4 energy, that drive to be reliable and responsible, goes into overdrive, it can act like a dam. It literally blocks the free-flowing, powerful energy of the 5. And the result? You end up feeling frustrated, maybe a little resentful, and just completely stuck. And get this, according to the source material, this internal battle doesn't just stay in your head. Oh no, it can actually show up as physical symptoms. The 5 energy is linked to the liver and gallbladder, while that structured 4 is tied to your skeleton, teeth, and knees. It's like your soul's check engine light coming on. And it gets even more specific. For this particular conflict, being too strict with yourself and maybe others, the emotional baggage is said to build up in the thoracic spine. That's your upper and middle back. It's almost the literal, physical manifestation of carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. Okay, so how do we fix this? How do we resolve this internal battle? Well, the final message of the soul blueprint is all about integration. It's not about picking the 4 or the 5. It's about learning how to embrace your true, whole, authentic self. I absolutely love this metaphor from the source. It asks you to think about all that responsibility you carry. Has it become like a suit of heavy armor? I mean, sure, it might feel protective, but is it also rigid and heavy and just constricting your ability to move and breathe? And here's the beautiful contrast to that heavy armor. Your true nature, your soul's essence, isn't armor at all. It's a vast land. It's not constricting, it's totally expansive. It's powerful, it's open, and it's just full of free-flowing light. The whole point is to let that land flourish, not cover it up. So the way forward, the path to a more harmonious life, is all about trusting your gut, your intuition. The Source calls this your soul's homeland. And when you start to trust that place, it's like you raise your soul's sail, ready to catch the winds of the universe. Your life stops being such a struggle and starts becoming this incredible, beautiful symphony. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? The Soul Blueprint suggests our birth date is a map, one we chose for our own growth. It can reveal a core challenge, designed not to break us, but to help us evolve. By understanding it, we can learn to integrate all the different parts of ourselves instead of fighting them. And that really just leads to one final, very personal question for you. Think about your own life. What armor are you carrying? And what do you think might happen if you were finally ready to take it off?